So it looks like we got more news on the two Batmans in the DC universe right now. Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson. Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flicks. My name is Chris Wong. Before I get anywhere, I just want to thank Evan Rice for this cool Christmas present. Thank you so much for this black suit Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. It looks really awesome. I dig it. Also for this cool Man of Steel keychain, I'm definitely going to hang my keys on this. Merry Christmas, sir. Alright, first we're going to talk about Matt Reeves the Batman. Then we're going to talk about Ben Affleck as Batman. Alright, let's talk about Matt Reeves the Batman. The Matt Reeves the Batman is not coming out until March of 2022. But we're already hearing a lot about the story, a lot about the different cuts that were shown to test audiences. And from those cuts, we've heard rumors that there was another villain that may be in the Batman. But they're toying around the idea of whether to show him or not. Whether to set up sequels or to keep Matt Reeves the Batman movie without hinting at further sequels. Well, this is actually coming from The Hollywood Reporter this time, in a way kind of confirming those rumors that we've heard. Last month, the internet went a little crazy about Barry Keoghan maybe not playing the Joker in Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman. Now that in itself kind of just, in a way confirms that that was true. Like, why write that if it was just made up? This is a trade report. Don't look to us to answers on that one, but we can tell you this. Multiple sources tell us that Warner Brothers has been testing two different cuts of the Batman. One with a certain actor, one without. And the final test screening occurred last week, with the decision now made as to which version the studio likes, says one source. Further confirming the insider Viewer Anon and a lot of different scoopers who have said that the first cut did not have Barry Keoghan at all, but the most recent test screening had Barry Keoghan in the movie, which means that the studio is testing whether to show Joker now or later. Now that doesn't mean they won't tease Joker like at the end of the movie, much like Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. Which kind of sucks for Barry Keoghan if he actually shot scenes, incredible scenes, playing as Joker in the movie and not showing it at all, erasing him from that cut. Which I hope whatever decision they make about which one to show, and I hope Matt Reeves approves it. Because if Matt Reeves doesn't approve it, then release the Matt Reeves cut. But in this industry, especially with comic book movies, there's always going to be alluding to a sequel nowadays. And if Barry Keoghan was there to shoot as the Joker, then show him. Let's see it. Obviously, it's probably going to lead to more movies anyway. But whether or not Joker shows up in Matt Reeves' The Batman, Matt Reeves has a lot to say about the Batman, and expectations are on the rise. This movie, I think, is probably the scariest Batman that's been done, because the idea of what Batman's doing, it's scary. Never been done in quite this way. It's a detective story, it's an action movie, and it's a psychological thriller. And that is true. For the most part, a lot of the Batman movies are just an action movie, and there's some thrilling, suspenseful moments. Some of it is like a crime drama, like The Dark Knight. But this is essentially promising to be different. It's scary, psychological thriller. The detective elements I'm especially looking forward to. All in all, that last trailer was amazing, and I can't wait to see what Matt Reeves has for the Batman. Alright, let's talk about the Batflick. Now we know that Ben Affleck is returning to the role of Batman for the Flash movie, and there's rumors and speculation that he's indeed going to be the Batman in Batgirl as well. Now it's crazy to see him come back, returning to the role of Batman after kind of just, hanging up the cape since he quit the Batman and after the Justice League debacle. Now that he's physically better in shape, mental health seems to be better, and he no longer has a drinking problem. He's back in a fantastic relationship with Jennifer Lopez. He seems to be doing better nowadays. Well, people are wondering, since he's doing better nowadays, when is he going to do that Ben Affleck Batman series? And for a lot of fans, they think that Warner Brothers is not ready to make that, and instead giving that opportunity to Matt Reeves, the Batman. Now, according to Daniel RPK, Ben Affleck was indeed offered a Batflick HBO Max series. On Daniel RPK's Discord, MMA Joker says, last year you mentioned that Ben Affleck had the chance to do a Batman miniseries for HBO Max. Do you know if he, and Daniel RPK replied, yes, he refused. Now this is something that my fellow colleague Dave the Film Junkie has heard as well. Instead of a series though, he said it was a two-part movie, and reiterating that it was definitely Ben Affleck's decision whether to do it or not. It was open for him. The project was there. We could have got a Ben Affleck Batman miniseries on HBO Max, which would have been awesome. I mean, him going against Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, and there's going to have Batgirl in it, would have been pretty kick-ass. But understandably, I think Ben Affleck was not mentally ready for that, and not ready for a leading role as the Batman. Now, I'd like to mention that he said this was last year. I'd like to say early last year, because around the middle of last year, something incredible happened. Ben Affleck signed on to reprise his role as the Batman in Andy Muschietti's The Flash. He also reprised his role as Batman in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and quite possibly he could be in Batgirl as well. So even though he wasn't ready to be the leading Batman in his own Batfleck miniseries on HBO Max, it does seem like he prefers to have those minor Batman roles for now. And I don't blame him. He probably wants to concentrate on his own movies, doing his own thing in the meantime, and signing up to be a Batman here and there. Or like some have said, depends on the script. If the script is good, then he'd say yes. If the script is not to his liking, then he's probably not going to do it. Which means it's like a case-to-case basis. Probably means he doesn't have a contract per se, and he has to show up as the Batman in whatever movie. He has to choose which movie that he wants to reprise his role as the Batman. Does that mean we'll ever get to see Ben Affleck as the Batman in his own miniseries versus Deathstroke and having Batgirl involved? It could, but give him some time. I think he's slowly getting into it. He had a lot of fun over on the Flash set, so if he continues to have fun with it, and then one day he feels like, alright, it's time that he can be the leading Batman role in his own Batfleck miniseries or movie, then he'll come back and do it. And the good news is that he was offered the role, offered an HBO Max series. I think the hardest part is when the studio doesn't offer or doesn't want him to do it. In this case, they do want him to do it. It's just up to Ben Affleck. But until then, we get to enjoy seeing him back as Batman in the new Flash movie, possibly Batgirl, and maybe cross our fingers, hopefully one day, in Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. So what do you think? What are your thoughts about Matt Reeves, the Batman, or Ben Affleck as the Batman? Do you want to see him back in a Batfleck miniseries on HBO Max? Let me know down in the comments down below.